Hi everybody, this is Anthony from Sunny Creates. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I am bringing you installment E of the A to Z times 2 series, and I apologize because I haven't gotten to do installment D, which is for die cuts, as yet. So I'm one behind, but I thought I would come to you with installment E anyway, and then I will backtrack for installment D this week as well. Now, installment E is on envelopes, and you'll see me bringing a hell of a lot of envelopes out here. Actually, I have more than this, but I think with what you see, you're going to get the gist now. Okay. So what do we have here? So envelopes come in many forms, many sizes, and many different, like some will have the triangle kind of flap, some might have the straight flap, some are big, some are small, some open to one side, some open to the other, some have the sticky part on it. So these are just some of the envelopes that I have in my stash. And then obviously the one with the window, but I thought, you know what I mean. These ones here, these are some of the envelopes that I keep in my stash. But there was a time when I had absolutely no envelopes, and I was fortunate enough that over the years I managed to collect some envelopes, and I really do like using them. But what if you want a particular size of envelope? Or what if you don't manage to get envelopes? And the whole idea about crafting or junk journaling is kind of to use what you have, or what you're going to throw away, or something like that. So how do we improvise when we want an envelope or an envelope? How do we improvise? Okay, so firstly, we improvise with junk mail like this. Okay, so I've got a whole of junk mail over here that, I can use. These one cut over here as well. Okay, so you can use junk mail, or we can make our own. Right, so if we have to make our own, what are we going to do? So, there's so many tutorials on how you use your junk mail envelopes and things like that. So I am not going to reinvent the wheel. So I'm going to show you one here where I wanted an envelope, but I think it could be this one here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me get it out. Same one. Okay, somewhere around I had an envelope that kind of needed to fit on this greeting card. I mean, be smaller than this greeting card, and I think it was more like a triangular flip, and I had maybe 10 of it left. So I was like, no, I don't want to use all of them. So what did I go ahead and do? So there is a video on this one here. It's a small little ephemera folder that you can send in Happy Mail. So I took a greeting card and I added to it, and then I made these 2 envelopes. Yeah. So all I did was I took a normal one. As I mentioned, I didn't have many of it. Okay, but it's not this one because you can see it's a triangular one, right? So all I did was I took the envelope, I opened it up, and I used it as a template to cut these out. And I also wanted these to be a little bit more sturdy than these ones. So this here is on 128 GSM cardboard or cardstock. So I was able to make these ones. So let's say you manage to get your hand on just one. Then you can take it apart and you can make your very own. And that's what I did in this case over here, because I had maybe 10, not like this, but somewhere around I probably have that stash. So that's one way of doing it, and it's quite easy. I know I have about 3 or 4 where I literally have only one of it, and I'm certainly not going to use it. I'm going to make a template out of it. Then I had gone to a charity shop and I found these ones there. Now these are, it wasn't a full pack, it was you know, whatever was in there I bought it, but these are templates for tags and envelopes, so you can use templates if you have them. Okay, like that. If you have them, use them. I mean, you can see that I've used this one here already, you can see, and I think I've used this one as well. I certainly used this one here, remember. So there we go. You can get templates if you have them to be able to do them. Okay, so templates are another way of making your envelopes. Now, what if you can't get them? You've used up your junk mail, or you want a different size, and you can't get templates, and you can't get envelopes. So then we can try making our own. Let me just put that away there, and let's see. Right, so maybe you have an envelope board, or maybe you have this here, which is the all-in-one works or something like that. I think that's what it's called. Can't remember. I think it's something like that. But now the envelope board is quite an expensive tool, and the fact that it makes envelopes, but it might be worth your while if you you know, just have paper lying around and you got the envelope board, and then you can do that. I think it's called the envelope punch board. And then this one is more expensive, but I mean, you can do many things on it. You don't have to only make envelopes. So I got this one here because it serves all in one, and I am going to make an envelope. And what I like about this here is that as long as you got the sheet of paper for the envelope that you need, then you can actually make the size of envelope that you want to make on this one here. So this one, it doesn't really, it can sit a little off, so you got to be a little bit careful how you line it up. It is magnetic and it works very well, but sometimes if you're not careful, you might just move it there or whatever. So always when you are making this envelope, make sure it's lined, that envelope triangle is aligned with that envelope over there. And then it tells you on here what card size you want, what paper size you should cut, and the alignment guide, because this is your alignment guide for your envelope. So this is a really great one because you can make banners, envelopes, tags. You can make a hell of a lot of things with this here, okay? But my demonstration is not on the tool itself. There's many demonstrations showing you how to use everything. But let's say I want to make a 3x3. And then it tells me, cut your paper size to 5x5 and align it at 2.5. So that's what I'm going to do. My paper is 5x5 and I'm just using normal coffee dyed paper. But you could use scrapbooking paper. You could use 6x6 pads. You could use 8x8 pads. I'm not sure whether a 12x12 pad will work on this. But I suppose if you want an envelope that's 7 inches by 7 inches, then you are going to use a 12 and 5/8. Yeah, so you probably use not a 12, 10 and 5/8. So you probably use a 12x12 pad. Okay, so I'm making one that's 3x3. And my paper size is 5x5, and I'm going to line it up on the 2.5 inch guide. Okay, so you've got this on the side here, but yeah, I can use it, but I prefer to use this. So I'm going to make sure this is sitting straight and is, you know, going into the grooves. This because these grooves over here, it's in the grooves, it's sitting in the grooves, it's lined up to envelope and envelope. And I'm going to use my 2.5 now. Now, I suppose people do it many ways, but this is how I found it the easiest. I line my edge of my paper to my 2.5 inch guide there, and then I make sure that everything is matching here. Okay, and then the edge of this here, I'm going to follow that line there, the edge of this line, to the score line, and I'm going to score it there. Okay, then I turn my paper 90 degrees clockwise, line it up again to the 2.5, make sure this thing is sitting straight, score it, and then you'll see that little gap over there where the two lines intersect, and that is where you are going to put your notches. Okay, now I think on the envelope scoreboard, every one I saw was you score, you punch, you score, you punch. And I suppose you can do that, but I'm not doing it, as you can see. So I'm lining it up and I'm scoring it. And then I'm lining it up again and I'm scoring it. Okay, so you'll know if you're scoring in the right place simply because you will have like a triangle where the score lines intersect on each part. And then you take those score lines and you flip it over to your envelope punch part of it. And it's on this side, okay? And then you can see that little notch there, and that notch must be in line with your score line. Now I am going to try and do this so that you can see it and I can see it. So I'm just going to see how this is going to work. Maybe I should stand up a bit for this so that I know that it's definitely in camera. Okay, so this edge and this edge must sit flush with the straight edge here. Okay, so there's like a little what would you call it? Not a groove, but it's high enough for you to be able to put your paper flush with that. Then this little notch must be in line with your score, and then you press it in, and then you get that little notch there. And then you do the same on this side. Line it up, make sure it's flush with the edge of this thing here. Score and mark, and the little notch are lined up as well, and you do that. And then you do the very same on this side as well. Okay, so it's easier for me to do this than just always coming out here to line it up all over again. I mean, you know, put the notch in and then go back and score. Right, so I have my paper and it looks something like that. And then on this side is where you get the little corner rounder punch part, and I'm going to show you that just now. So let's just move this off the table and use that. So now what you're going to do over here is that you can now take your bone folder and you can now fold on those score lines. Now this is 80 GSM paper. It has been coffee dyed, so it is it's sturdy, and I actually like using 80 GSM paper for my envelopes, even though the other one you saw where I used one envelope as a template for it, I use 128 GSM. So that's how your envelope looks. Now you decide which one, because they're all the same, which one is going to be my top opening one. And I decide, okay, that's going to be my top opening one. So I'll take it back to the corner around the punch part. I will place it in there so that it matches, and I will just give it a little you know, press down, and it rounded that corner. Now if you want a more distinct rounded corner, then this is not going to work. I have no idea how many centimeters or inches this rounds at. But it looks pretty small. I don't know, maybe 1/8, I'm not sure. Okay, I don't have one that's so small because I use the one that we are memory keepers range. So now that's my envelope. The good thing about this is you can make it in many sizes. It doesn't always have to be a square, and so too with the envelope punch board, you can make it 3x4 or whatever, 7x2 or 5x7, you know, whatever they allow for you to make, you can make it. And I'm sure, you know, as you play around with it, you can get maybe even your custom measurements out of it. So that's that. Now all I'm going to do is I am going to fold it, put some glue on it, and use it. Okay. So I hope you are all well. I know I have been missing in action for a week. Normally I post a few videos a week, and my last video I think was on Saturday, so I apologize for that. I was not feeling well. Just nothing bad, just out of sorts. And yeah, so I decided to take some time out to rest. Well, not rest, I go to work every day. I work every day. So I took some time out from crafting because I do this normally in the evenings. So I didn't want to add any more strain than going to work. Right, so I'm just adding glue here. You saw I added a tiny bit over there just to hold that in place. And then just some glue around the corners. Now this is not very thin glue. It's cheap glue. But I mean, you're only doing paper. I wouldn't use this glue if I was gluing together like cardstock or whatever, you know. And that's it. There's your envelope. How cool is that? How cute is that? I mean, that's just simply adorable. And you can put it in your journals. You can now decorate it. I'm not going to decorate it. I'm just going to put it in my journal. Like that, and you know, decorate it, embellish it and all those things, and put it into your journal. Oh, a little note, a little birthday card. How cool is that, man? That I don't know, that the size is just simply too adorable for me. Okay, and I can see that I didn't bring this in properly here, but nevertheless, that is it, and that's how it looks. Now, let's say you don't have these fancy envelope punch boards, and you know, you're just starting off, or you just don't feel it necessary to buy one, which is fully understandable. Now, I'm going to show you 2 ways of making envelopes in this manner, and these ideas are from Corey Darman, but yeah, I don't think I didn't see it only on her channel, but yes, I'm going to show you what she did. Now, there's 2 different ones, and I think it's on 2 different videos. So all I did was I brought it into one video, and now I must remember. Now, both these are square papers. I think this is 5.5, and I think this is 6 inches, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so the first one is you take your square piece of paper and then you fold it diagonally, corner to corner. Diagonally, I think it's diagonally. Okay, corner to corner. And that's what you do there. Now, there's many others. I know Pam from the Paper Outpost has one as well. She uses an origami one. I remember that. There's an origami one as well that she makes. But I can't remember the video, to be honest. That was many moons ago. And I just use my mat, my very dirty mat, which I need to clean. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the tip of that triangle. So it's the open part. I'm going to line up the tip of the triangle, and I'm going to try and line it up here, and I'm working in centimeters, but remember I cut this in inches. So it doesn't really matter, because all you need is to line it up to the middle, and then you can use your lines. So this is my middle line lining. This is my middle line that my tip of my triangle is positioned on. Okay, and so I'm going to use this line here, to now try and fold this tip here. Now the only thing is that that tip must go past that middle line. Okay, so I'm just going to fold it past the middle line, somewhere there. That's the tip. That's the only thing you need to do. And obviously that crease must be in line. So this crease here must be in line with this crease. Okay, so they must be straight. And then once you do that, you fold it down, you burnish it down. So there you go. And that's what you do. Okay, and then you do the very same on this side as well. This. Now, can you see where that little, when I folded it, that part there that I folded is sitting on somewhere near that line there. My tip is still aligned on the top, and I've got straight folds over here. I'm going to do the very same with this side, but when I'm doing this side, I need to ensure that that point there and this point here sit on the same line. Now you can see that point is on that line, but this point is on this, which means I need to bring it in more, fold it in more. Okay, and I'm folding it more in, and yes, they look like they're now aligned. Okay, so can you see the tips are almost the same? Yes, so then we know we've got a decent enough fold, and it's going to work. Now what I do is, before I crease this down, I bring this in to make sure that that point there is going to be meeting this little apex here. Okay, so I bring it in and I close it. Okay, so now why do I do that? And maybe it's my folding that's not perfect, but now can you see I still got a little bit off over here. I got a little bit off, so I know that I must bring this in a little bit more and line it up. Now with Corey, she managed to do it without, you know, she did this fold first and then she did that last. But with me, for some reason, my paper doesn't always line up. So I have an idea about where this must fall, okay, but then this one seems to go off. So that is why I always bring this in a little bit, and then I finalize, if I could say that, I finalize the score or the fold line on this side. So then I have a neat, all-rounded envelope. Okay. Right, now what happens is that these two pieces, if you look at them, they are opened. They are opened on this side and they are opened on this side. So all you do is you choose. Do I want this piece to tuck into that fold, or do I want this piece here to tuck into this one's fold? And either way you can do it. It doesn't really matter, right? And there we go. We have an envelope. An envelope that is so cool, because all you got to do is you got to open it up. You got a place to journal, and you got a place, if you want to, where you can add some stuff, but I wouldn't because you just don't have enough place there, right? And it folds up into itself like that, and this one goes in like that. You keep it safe, okay, like that. And then if you want to, you can put a bit of seal or like wax on that, or if you want to, you can decide, okay, you know what I'm gonna do, let's see what we got in here. Maybe something like this. Maybe it's too big, but I don't know. So you can just stick it on here, and then it can close that. So let's say, for example, I want to stick this. Wasn't planning on doing this, but so please forgive me. So I need to ink it up now. Oh, wrong one. That's vintage photo. This is walnut stain. Okay, so I look and say, right, so I can hold all these in place, right? And I'm only going to add glue here, a little bit on this part here. Okay, that's the amount of glue I'm going to add just for this to be held. And remember, you're only going to add glue so it touches just this part here, just this quarter part here, like that. Okay, like that, so that it's only on that flips down and just holds it in place like that. Okay, so if you have to open it up, you're opening it up like that. Can you see it's only holding that part, and like that. And when you close it, this goes into there like that, and then this part here is held down by that little circle. There we go, and you can close it like that. Okay, so the glue must only sit on that side there, or you could have added glue onto this side and then tuck that into that. Okay, and there you have a lovely little envelope that is held together. Right, so that's one. Then the other one is actually even easier to make than the first one, in my opinion. Okay, so all you do is you bring it up and you line it again, corner to corner diagonally. Just make a line there with your finger. Then the other side, corner to corner diagonally as well, making sure they match, and make a line in there like that. And then here you will have a little point where they meet, and I will not normally do this, but for the sake of this tutorial I will show it to you. There's the point somewhere there, okay, that they meet. So bring this, so it doesn't matter which edges, you can bring those two edges in, or you can bring these two edges in, it doesn't really matter. Okay, just want to put this back, there we go. So I'm bringing that edge, that point, to the point I created with the pencil, which is in the middle of those two lines that we folded down very briefly, and then this to here. And the only other thing you need with this is a ruler. So that's what you do. Two edges are meeting at that circle, or at that, not circle, point, dot. Okay, now what you're going to do is you are going to take your ruler. Now I'm using two different rulers because mine got a thick edge, and you are going to place your ruler, okay, your ruler in between, or touching. The edge of your ruler must touch the edge of these two little fold lines here, there and there, like that. Okay, like that. Right, and if you can eyeball it, all the better for you. And then my ruler, that's why I'm using this one, has a center here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move that center to the center, meaning I must have from that center, there must be equal space on this side and equal space on that side. Okay, and that center should actually line up with that as well for you to know. Okay, so I think that it's around there. So that center to line up with that, but I just use it from here and to your edge of your ruler to line up with that. And then once you have that all in line down that way, right, you bring this part up to meet the center of that ruler like that, and crease it down here, crease it down like that. Okay, so let's think about that again. The apex here, and then line your ruler up, and then line the ruler up, and then bring this edge, that point, to the center so it matches that center point. And if you have a ruler like mine, or the Tim Holtz ruler, where there is a 0, you can use that to guide you as well. Okay, so there we go, something like that and something like that. And then once you are done with that, and you've made it, you made your fall, then you take your ruler, okay, and then all you do now is that fold there, see that little V over there and that V over there, line your ruler to that V and that V. Okay, and then this here, just turn it over like that. Use your fingers or your nails to do that. And then once you do that, that's how it's going to look. Then you turn it over in that manner there, and all you do is you take your glue now, and you, on that triangle, put some glue and glue it down like that. So that's how it's going to be looking so far. Okay, and I think this is an absolutely gorgeous what's this word, envelope. I love it. I love the simplicity of it. Obviously it's taking longer because I'm explaining it to you, right? Now what you're going to do over here is that you are going to place glue on this side, okay, this side and this side. So there's your paper here. You're going to place glue on this side because that is going to hold that in place. This here is going to hold that in place, and that there is going to hold that part in place. Okay, so going down like that. Okay, going down like that. You can even place glue going here as well. Okay, like that, because that part is not going to get affected. But don't place glue on that triangle you just glued down there. Right, so this is going to meet that, that is going to meet that. Okay, so when you place glue on this, can you see that line over there? There's a tiny line that has glue on it, so it doesn't in any way affect the anything going into it. Okay, so just there, again there, there and there. Okay, here as well, here, and you can go straight down that line, this line over here, and then this line over here. Okay, right, so straight down that little part from there to there, and that little part from there to there. Okay, on both sides. and close it up. I can't tell you how much in love I am with this envelope. Now, if I were doing this off camera, I would definitely go around inking all these edges. But hey, I'm doing it on camera and I don't want to waste your time. And then all I do is I put this now for these little to intersect over there. I line up my ruler again, which you don't need to do at all. Bring it over like that, and look at that, ladies and gents. Look at what an absolutely gorgeous, neat envelope that is. And that envelope is only determined, the size of this envelope is really determined by the size of paper that you have. So we started off with the 6 by 6 inches. Okay, sorry, that's all in centimeters. And what did we end with? We ended with a 4.5 wide by 3 and blimey, what's this? 2/16, 3.25. 2/16 is 3.25. No, not, yeah, 3 3/16. Yeah, okay, somewhere near that envelope. And in centimeters, that is 8 centimeters high by 11 centimeters across. I love it. I love it. And then we can end it off by, let's see, putting a 1/4 inch over here, making it 1/4 inch, rounding it off at 1/4 inch. Let's see. Oh, not neat at all. You see, this paper is so thin, guys, that it's actually getting squashed in there. You know, it's just not getting squashed. So just neaten it up there. There we go. And that's it. How cool, how super cool. Okay, so what did we do? We learned to use store-bought envelopes, junk mail envelopes. We learned to use our scoreboard to be able to make our own papers. We learned to use templates that are store-bought, or take apart an envelope and use it as a template, which I did in this case. We learned to make our own, and that's one way of doing it, and that's another way of doing it. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this, and what I'm showing you is absolutely nothing new. It's just brought together all in one so that you can have one reference place to look at different ways you can get envelopes, whether it's store-bought, whether it's templates you're using that are store-bought, whether you're using a store-bought punch board, or whether you are making it simply with a ruler and paper, and I mean, this is not a necessity. If you can eyeball, you don't really need the mat. Okay, and also one where you absolutely need nothing but paper. Okay, so I hope you had fun, and I hope that you can use this video as a reference to all the different ways. And there's so many ways of making envelopes. Okay, there is so many. As I mentioned, Pam from the Paper Outpost has a really nice one where it's an origami one. I have made it previously, not on, not as a tutorial, but I have made it, and it's simply gorgeous. I just can't find the journal that I made it in. Yeah, I can't find the journal. I'm looking if I had it there. And so there's many people out there that have done this. Nothing new, but do take care, everybody. And I will bring the die video to you, dies and die cut video to you shortly. This was installment E of the A to Z times 2 series. And I hope that you enjoyed it, and do take care and have a blessed weekend. Week, and well, the rest of the weekend and week ahead. Bye bye. See you shortly.